Well, good morning to us, everyone seated. As you are aware, we're supposed to have the mayor of the London Borough of Hillingdon, Cllr Roy Chamdal, with us in church this morning, but unfortunately he could not be with us. But we are so grateful that he's giving us the privilege of coming to carry out this interview with him in his wonderful parlor here at the Civic Center. And here we are, and I'm just going to be having Cllr Roy answer some questions that will be to your delight. Will you want to bring a greeting to the church, Cllr Roy?
First of all, thank you very much, Reverend Tunde. I've got to apologise that unfortunately I can't be there in person. Unfortunately, circumstances have contrived for me not to come, but I'm more than happy to answer a few questions that you want to ask me and give my honest opinion.
Great, fantastic. Well, we'll just dive in straight away, and so that we can have a full pleasure of having you be with us virtually in this service. Cllr Roy, as the mayor of the past 1 year, and your experience must have been something that will be long in your heart. What has been your experience being the #1 citizen of the London Borough of Hillingdon in the past 1 year?
Well, apparently I am the man. I am the first citizen of London Borough of Hillingdon. I represent Her Majesty the Queen at certain events. Well, dreams are not even made of this. A young lad who came to England in the late 60s, brought up in East London, moved to West London, became a councillor, became a mayor. Well, this is just a dream come true, and I'm living the dream on a daily basis. That's the best way to put it. It is a truly humbling role. It's an enlightening role, and I believe I've gained so much knowledge in this year, and I honestly believe I've come out better as a better person with the experiences that I've had.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, you certainly already demonstrated it, that you will be remembered as a charming, friendly mayor. Each time I've seen you like that, and even this morning. What will be for you as you step out of this role? What is the impact of your upbringing in this role as a mayor?
That's an easy one. I've always been like this. I remember looking at old videos that we had. Well, not videos, it was cine films, 8mm cine films, of when I was about 10, 11 years old, in our shop. And I was a naughty boy. I was always very cheeky. We grew up, our family, my father, my mother, we had a very happy childhood. Mum and Dad would regularly laugh and joke. We will hug each other, we'll kiss each other. Dad used to kiss Mum, which was a no-no for an Indian family, but that's how we were brought up. And I can't remember a really sad time. And we worked hard. Mum and Dad worked extremely hard, and we had such a wonderful upbringing. Dad taught us the values of life. We used to go to our local Gurdwara, our temple, so we were introduced to God. We were introduced to another being who controlled everything. And nowadays, whether you believe it or not, I do. I believe there is a being up there who gives us guidance. And I owe this all to Mum and Dad. I miss them terribly. But I remember Dad asking me an interesting question once. He goes, when you go to a temple and you pray, what do you ask for? I said, well, I ask for A, B, C, D, E, F. He goes, well, don't you think if you got everything you asked for, you will be a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire?
Oh.
And it made you think. And since that day, I was a young age, every time I go to whatever place of worship, I just ask for guidance, that I'm given guidance. Because I will carry out the act. I can't blame anybody else. And I've come to that realization: happy thoughts, happy mind, and a happy body at the end of the day. That's a great way to start. Smile in the morning. And that's what I've always done. I am grumpy sometimes, but few and far between. And this role this year, I think it brought out the best in me. I used to smile every morning. As soon as I open my diary in the morning, when I wake up, I smile from here to here on all the events I had to do. And I still am. I've got a week left, and I'm still very happy.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're so glad that we're able to, of course, have you be with us, albeit virtually, in our service. I want to ask a very pertinent question that, I mean, you will look at it as, you'll be also be known as the mayor that was once a cake baker, and the journey from being a cake baker to being the mayor of the London Borough of Hillingdon, how smooth or rough or straightforward was that journey?
Well, as in life, nothing comes easy. I was actually a samosa maker. So Dad bought his first shop in the late 70s, Indian sweets and groceries. So we used to get up at the weekend in the wee hours of the morning, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it was, and we'll make samosas because we didn't have freezing facility in those days. My brother and my mum used to roll them. My dad and my sister used to fill them, and I used to have to fry them. And we used to do about 600 an hour. But that quality time we had as a family, you only appreciate it now. We'll laugh, we'll joke, we'll fight. But that quality of time with no interruptions was absolutely invaluable. Something that I try not to get my kids up that early, but as a family to get together and have dinner together. No mobile phones off while we're having dinner.
Yeah.
It's not been easy. Dad's always worked 8 days a week. We always worked 8 days a week. Worked that one out. But it's been a fantastic journey because nothing in life comes easy. And the more the pleasure you get when you reap the rewards of hard work, and that's in any field. I always believe the more hard work you put in, the easier the journey. You don't always achieve it, but don't be negative. Be positive. Look at the positives you get out of every situation. And that's not just fairy story stuff. This is real life. You know, if I had everything I could get in life, would I be any happier? Possibly. But I enjoy the challenges as well. We've just come off for an election. We just had an election last night. Yes. I'm still a councillor. But these are great. The journey to get to the pinnacle of what you want is absolutely fantastic and invaluable.
Wow. I mean, that question is so important because in the church, I'm seated hearing you this morning are professionals, people who are predominantly migrants from different parts of the world, predominantly from Africa and the different part of Africa. And if there was one thing that you will say to people when they get into the country, the United Kingdom, as welcoming as it is to us, how do you get yourself integrated to this level of flourishing and becoming what you want to really achieve in your dream? What will be that number one thing that you will make somebody to focus on?
Well, this is your new home. Like I said, I came in the late 60s. I was welcomed with open arms. There were only 3 Asian children in the school, if I remember correctly. That was me, my brother and my sister.
Wow.
And we all made you feel so welcome. And we consider this our home. And when you consider some place your home, you will react in that way. And that's the only thing I can really say. This is your home. This is a fantastic country. We can discuss, we can argue over different points of view, but yet when we leave the room, we are best friends.
Wow.
We're not persecuted for our thinking. And we don't have that everywhere in the world. You know, originally I'm from India, and we have different rules and regulations there. But this country is fantastic in that sense. It's so diverse. I mean, in Hillingdon alone, we have 100 different languages, and it's everybody are individuals, but as a group, we're all from Hillingdon, and we should be proud of that. I'm extremely proud of being a constituent of Hillingdon, a resident of Hillingdon, and I consider this my home, and I always will do. And the moment you consider it your home, you will react and behave accordingly.
Yeah. Just a couple of more questions and then we'll be wrapped up on this. A lot of people have benefited and gained, blessed as I will call it, during your term in office, especially your domestic violence charity. I want to ask, you as a person, you as the mayor, outgoing mayor, what will be your fulfilling legacy having seen through these 12 months in office?
Well, as the mayor, we get to choose a charity. I chose 2 charities. I was looking for homegrown charities, non-profit organisations, and something that fits in well with today. The 2 charities I chose, one was domestic abuse survivors. This young lady who herself is a survivor, a one-man band who helps people have good memories. People who are left home after horrendous situations. And I spent an hour with her, and within half an hour I was nearly brought to tears that in 2022 we still have situations like this. The second charity was Navrati Garba. They offer free food, fresh vegetables to anybody every Tuesday. This came out from the pandemic where there was so much goods left over at the temple that they said, look, let's give it out. And this turned into now a community event every Tuesday. People come half an hour beforehand, get together, talk, and after this horrible pandemic that we're still going through, people on their own suffered. Now they come out where we shook hands, talked, which became an alien thing. And now we came back to the norm. Again, another charity ran by a young man, I call him young man, who's been through a terrible time himself. He's not been well, but he runs his charity, non-profit organisation once again, and he gives all this time free, and he enjoys it. So I think this was apt for 2022. A horrible situation, domestic abuse survivors, people not having the ability to afford fresh fruit, vegetables, especially in this cost of living that we have, experience we're having now. I believe this will highlight the plight of people, and it will highlight the goodness that we have in this society. People willing to help, go out over and above, like your church. You can always come and talk to Pastor Tunde, I'll say now. It's wonderful, and I'm going to come to your church after my term finishes. I promise you that.
That's
and you've got to hold me to this.
Yes.
It's lovely meeting different people from different walks of life and listening. That's a key thing I've learned at a very early age. Listening, not waiting to speak, but actually listening. Take on board what people say, think, digest it, and then come with a response. Because people do listen to the mayor. And I'll give you a quick example of sometimes how early on in my mayorship, probably I think the first or second event, I was sitting down for lunch with the ambassador of Poland on my right, a general on my left, somebody from the American embassy very high up, number 3 or 4 in the embassy. And I asked my wife, what am I going to talk to these people about? I'm a simple lad who made samosas and do other things. I'm in food industry. But I got talking to one of their wives. And the conversation was fantastic because we talked about food. And you find out what a position you occupy.
Yeah.
We're all off the same base.
Yeah.
We all eat, drink, and we try and be merry. So that's a fantastic thing to see and learn.
Really good, really good. Well, my last question to the Mayor of Hillingdon, Cllr Roy, today is to say that, I mean, I can never forget the picture seeing you with one of your foot bandaged up, when you had some hurts on the foot, but yet you were still all over the place, helping people, making people happy, trying to reach out to people. What is it that keeps you on and on and on to know that being the mayor is not about you, but about the people that you have been sent to lead?
That's the thought. This is the best thing that's happened to me.
Wow.
I got a diabetic ulcer. It happened overnight, and there was a risk of actually amputation. And I love my food, because I'm in food. I love my chapatis at night. I love my rice. I love my sweets. And overnight, this horrible injury which happened with no pre-warning changed my life. I went from somebody who cannot survive without this. Overnight, I stopped. I changed my diet. I changed my outlook. I can physically see every day. It's a minimum of 20 weeks I have to survive like this. So I can't afford to get it wet. And this has changed my life. And I said to my consultant, this is the best thing that's happened to me. And he said,
Wow.
Mr. Chamdal, how can you say that? I said, because if it wasn't for this thing, which I see every day, I wouldn't have given up the sweets. My blood sugars come down to normal. I've lost a stone in weight. I'm going to lose more. And I've realized I can't carry on the way I am. As for running around, I don't ignore the injury. Well, not injury, it's self-inflicted. I am who I am. I can't change that way. I have, but helping others, the role, you're right.
Yeah.
When I came in here, I know people know who the mayor is, but it's not about me. I've never been about me. It's about other people.
Wow.
And it really has. And I had a civic dinner, and I wanted to embrace and celebrate individuals. There's so many individuals, but I could only do a few. One was a gentleman called Brian Beeston. He spent 80 years as a scout. He's 90 plus, and he walks with a military march. There's other people, dance schools, coaches, doctors. It shows you what a wonderful society we have with individuals who go above and beyond to make other people happy. And what do? I turn up in my robes and say a few words, and if I can make somebody happy, that's good for me, but it's about them. And I believe that's for me what the role is about. It's about other people and what this makes this borough great, and ultimately what makes this country great.
Wow.
It's this.
Excellent, excellent. You've taught us a brilliant lesson of life listening to you today, Cllr Roy. You've just said to us that adversity has a lot of good in it. Adversity brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of joy to us. And I'm going to be going away with that. And I know a lot of people here are going to be going away with that. Our prayer for you today is that as you leave office and continue in your journey of serving people, as yet Sir Councillor are still doing so much that you're doing within the community, and also the joy of seeing the transformation in your life. Our prayer is that God will grant you peace, grant you joy, will enable you to see the fruits of your labor, and that will hold you to it, to welcome you back to Kingsborough physically, in person, and then we'll hope to see you in good light.
Well, thank you very much for that. You know, and in God we trust, as we say. Service to man is service to God.
Yeah.
And we were taught that at a very young age. I will definitely come to your church. I promise you. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, in fact, I'm gonna put a line in the sand. I will definitely come within the 4 weeks.
Oh, fantastic!
How's that? I'll leave it up to Reverend Tunde to organise that.
Well,
And I would
the
love to.
the mayor-elect is Councillor Becky, and she's a member of the church, and I'm sure she will be laying.
I'm not going to step on her toes. That's her year.
Yeah, of course.
Let her do that.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to come as
Ooh.
Roy Chamdal,
Wow.
and I think I would be blessed to experience a morning with you.
Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much, Councillor Roy. We really appreciate.
He's a lovely man.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate this wonderful.